What would a person do for the rest of their life after becoming the symbol of European basketball at the age of 14, when facing unavoidable mediocrity and brokenness? On an ordinary afternoon in 2023, Ricky Rubio sat in an empty arena surrounded by suffocating silence. He suddenly realized he could no longer tie his shoelaces. It was not injury, but his soul whispering at that moment, "I cannot hold on any longer." Ricky Rubio, once a symbol of extraordinary talent and boundless potential, was dragged by fate into a long, dark mental abyss. Tonight, accompanied by the gentle glow of the fire, let us walk through his true life story. On the basketball court, some legends stand for invincibility, while he stands for resilience, the strength to rebuild dignity and light from a shattered mind. His life is a soft, profound melody, brilliant and astonishing at the start, soaked in hardship and wounds in the middle, and ending as one of the most healing journeys of self-redemption. His signature melancholy never faded, even when he was adored by the world and titled the Golden Boy. It was the quiet reflection of someone who has seen through vanity and fame. Close your eyes now, and feel the quiet light growing within him through years of pain and inner struggle. His destiny was shaped in a small coastal town in Spain. From an early age, Ricky Rubio ran faster than the dreams of his peers. He grew up competing against adults, with surgical precision in every pass, and a wisdom far beyond his years in his eyes. In Beijing 2008, during the Olympic final against Team USA, he moved fearlessly around the rim like an elf, leaving the whole world wondering who this extraordinary teenager was. Back then, he lived at the height of fame, bathing in endless cheers, believing his brilliant story would last forever. Yet fate always cracks open in one's finest hour. His journey across the ocean to the NBA did not bring the happy ending he once imagined. In the following years, he struggled endlessly in the cold days with the Timberwolves, criticized and mocked worldwide for his unreliable shooting. The magical playmaker slowly turned into an ordinary guard limited by data and criticism. Such a gap hurt far more than any physical injury. The media questioned his ceiling, teams measured his trade value, and alone in quiet locker rooms, he asked himself again and again, "Do I truly belong here?" The loneliness torn between ideal and reality was as cold as Minnesota's freezing winter, making him understand how heavy and fragile the title of Golden Boy truly was. Mediocrity was bearable, but the passing of his mother in 2016 became the coldest winter of his life. The moment he needed warmth the most, he lost the only person who allowed him to be vulnerable and free. A part of his world was broken beyond repair. During his mother's illness, he often flew to the hospital late at night after games, staying by her side until dawn, then flying back to the court with a forced smile for the cameras. He lost his sense of belonging, his identity, and even the joy basketball once gave him. Wandering between the Jazz, the Suns, and the Cavaliers. He never complained about fate, nor exposed his pain to the public. Instead, he wrote quietly in his diary through countless sleepless nights. Like a weathered captain after a storm, he patiently mended his only net after his ship sank. That net was his inner philosophy to find peace. His devotion to staying true to himself seemed strange to others, yet to him, it was the last dignity of being human. He remained humble and professional, still focusing on every detail of the game. He waited silently, hoping for even the slightest chance of peace, simply to sleep soundly at last. Then came the 2019 Basketball World Cup. The Spanish national team, needing him as their leader, gave him a precious chance to redefine greatness when his spirit was almost exhausted. When Ricky Rubio stepped into the role of leader, he brought no arrogance or glamour, only inner clarity and reverence for the impermanence of life. That summer in China, under the lights of Wuxang Arena, this aging player, once labeled past his prime, bloomed with the purest fire of his life. And no longer relying only on fancy passing, he charged forward with determined drives and steady shots, releasing 3 years of hidden sorrow and longing. When the final buzzer sounded, he lifted the World Cup MVP trophy. Gazing up at the arena ceiling, his eyes were filled with tender affection. He did not run or roar. Amid the falling golden confetti, he whispered softly to the one he had lost. "Mom, I made it," he said calmly at the press conference. "Basketball saved my life. But I have learned not to let basketball be my whole life." Those words silenced all doubts about his mental strength and released the thousands of days of tension trapped inside his heart. He no longer needed to prove he was the once famous golden boy. He only needed to prove he could still treat the world with kindness after great loss. After that championship, the sorrow in his eyes turned into gentle, profound light. In that incredible season of rebirth, his name once again took root across every basketball court in the world, blooming with the wisdom of healing. In 2024, Ricky Rubio officially announced his retirement from professional basketball. The basketball world felt no sorrow, only sincere respect. His retirement statement held no list of achievements, no complaints about injuries and faded prime years, only a gentle, peaceful smile in every photo. Through this long journey of inner healing, he never resented the world for wearing him down. Instead, he greeted every new day and reconciled gently with his anxious self. During his final days in Cleveland, he willingly became a mentor for young players, passing down his wisdom on how to settle one's soul amid chaos. He finally understood the cheers in Beijing and the cold nights in Minnesota were all necessary steps to make his farewell complete. He was no longer a superstar admired by millions, but an ordinary human being, flesh and blood, capable of lighting his own way through darkness. In his retirement letter he wrote, "Now, I am going to live my true life." In that moment, he broke free from the tragic expectations others placed on him and became a true victor who rose from mental ruins. He proved that with a pure and transparent heart, even without basketball, one's soul can reach the distant shore of peace. In the end, we see him walking quietly on the streets of Barcelona, meditating alone by the sea. Calm and unrushed, he carries a vast inner world, soft and affectionate whenever love is mentioned. Looking back on his life, it is a gentle journey descending from the altar of genius back to ordinary humanity. He once wondered, would I be happier if I stayed forever in the spotlight of the golden boy? The answer lies in his choice to step away from basketball and embrace peace, for honesty is the deepest essence of life. He fought for the younger version of himself trapped under public expectation, and lives for every soul lost in anxiety and confusion. With 20 years of youth, he gave the softest answer to life's biggest question. The fading of fame is not an end, but the beginning of seeing the stars. His story is deep, restrained and warm. A brilliant shooting star at the start, and a quiet, peaceful sunset in the end. The wind fades outside, and distant lights flicker just like the last red silhouette he left on the Olympic court. Let go of your worries, sink into quietness, and drift into peaceful sleep. May you carry the same gentle strength in your heart, fear no anxiety, and stand firm through every storm. Good night, in this quiet, tender, and powerful night.